It has been quite a while, but I wanted to toy around with a few things. I've changed a lot of the rules and leaderboard settings on SRC for Guild Wars with all of the recent updates and changes. Tactics and routes haven't changed too much, but there's definitely some major differences in terms of things that you'll experience. Skill balance changes and AI changes are probably the biggest. I'm doing a rough, rusty remembrance run here for starting a new Factions any percent run. Just trying to remember all the little tricks. We can't use bonus weapons anymore because they got rid of those for new accounts. The Emperor's still good on, but the bonus weapons are no more, which makes runs a lot more risky. I have no idea what I did with my henchman here. My movement's definitely really rusty. I haven't touched this game in quite a while. This account's keybinds are all out of whack for some reason. We swapped over from live split to using Guild Wars Toolbox for timing and splitting. There's someone in the community who's actively working on building this up. I think it's really neat. It needs some work still, but I think it's really cool. And I'm just kind of testing some of the splitting for that as well. I'm not fully committing to doing runs again or solo challenges or anything like that. There's definitely more changes coming later this year. No idea what they are because the devs have basically zero communication, so I'm just waiting to see what it is in case something drastic changes, because earlier this year I started a LDOA challenge in pre, and then Reforged came out of nowhere. And then when I was adapting the LDOA guide for Reforged, they released the dungeon and other game modes, and basically I gave up working on the LDOA guide. There's so much variation to it, and I need a lot of testing, and I haven't really cared to. Um, so we'll see what comes later this year. Biggest concern for speedrunning, if they're going to keep doing balance changes and AI changes or changing certain content or adding things that can affect runs, then the boards will have to keep being reset over and over and over because it's not like non-online games where you can just down patch and have different patches shown. There is no going back. Um, I've already had to miscellaneousize all the previous boards. They're still visible in public, but not very cool to be doing runs and know if just one little update comes and changes one skill that's on an enemy that you encounter during a run. In all fairness, you'd have to make a new board, right? It's a little, not that drastic, but I don't think the community would care too much about that. However, if a skill that's used a lot in the speedrun gets a 5-second more cooldown, and you use it during the whole run for 2 hours, you're able to use that skill, 50 more times. There's a lot of variation in factions, though. The main variating factor in factions is definitely unwaking. If the devs ever removed the server entry time, that'd be amazing. If you could choose to play with other people or choose to play with allied NPCs, I would love that for speedrunning. Honestly, I think normal players might like that too, because then you don't have to sit there and wait a minute to get into the mission when no one's on. I don't think it's that big of a deal for casual players, though. Regardless. I am toying around with the game again. If the splits get finalized and put into Toolbox, it'll be the new official timing for this. If the updates that are coming later don't change anything too crazily, then basically everything will mostly stay the same. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I already have got things set up for all the game mode variations that I think is the best approach for speedruns. So we'll just have to wait and see. One of the things that I'm testing a lot right now is pathing. Example, running to Tsumi Village. For the longest time I was pretty shocked. For the longest time I thought the path we took where you go back to Shinjei by dash and then exit and leave was just so much faster than walking to Sume after doing Jinzo's quest. But actually, with everything considered, it is about like 5 seconds faster at the end of the day, which is crazy. You know, if it wasn't for having to map back to Sumi and then walk outside the portal for that, it would actually probably be faster or the exact same. But teleporting to Tsumi after getting dash from Xinjiang, if you walked there first before going back, you can get put in some pretty bad spots when mapping into that town, and it just ends up being anywhere from 5 seconds to 10 seconds slower. It's just not worth. But still, it's extremely closer than I thought it would be. For this group here, I found you don't need NPCs even without the bonus shield. You don't need the henchman to survive this as long as there's not an Ether Fiend. If there's an Ether, you just need to reset the map anyways or flag your henchman. By reset the map, I mean just walk back through the portal and reset it. Because they're gonna slow you with a hex. But if not, you're good to just go for it, and then you can flag them through to come kill this group up here. There's a lot of small things that I'm trying to remember as well. I'm testing damage numbers. So for Jinzo's quest, the Rit and Ranger outperform everyone without the imp there. The Warrior barely outperformed the Assassin. The Ellie was like the worst. And all three of those were much weaker than the Rit and Ranger. The Rit's really good when you're standing still fighting because of the Spirit. But with Imp, all of them seem pretty weak, really. For this part, you want to use your henchmen. The reason you flag them through the portal, you want to use your henchmen and Imp to clear this group as soon as possible, because you want the assassin NPC to finish his objective and start walking towards you whenever you kill this enemy. So basically, you don't have to run all the way back to him. You can just he's walking to you while you're walking to him. With 4 critical strikes, this is like old knowledge. I mathed out that you just dump all your points into crit, and the bleed from Twisting Fanes will degen this guy. You can just run away. And as you can see, because we had a couple henchmen and the imp, the assassin NPCs are already just making his way towards us. The issue is if you catch him at a bad time like this, you need to quickly click accept, or otherwise he's just going to keep walking. Lose a couple seconds, but... And I'm not 100% sure if I want to do the Assassin Warrior route or the Assassin Necro route. Assassin Warrior is technically faster in a few sections. It's way faster early on because of the quests for Warrior are much faster. Necromancer is much slower. But late game, it makes things a lot easier, which gate glitching a little more interesting, but we will see.